Well, good evening. Good evening. I want to thank you so much for joining me this evening, this Saturday night. Um, this Saturday night on Talk and Sip. Want to welcome those who are joining me on YouTube, those who are joining me on Facebook, those who are joining me on Instagram, but most primarily on YouTube. Because what I'll say, it's very important to come over onto the YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel, of course, it will have. What can I say with the YouTube channel? You'll see the interactions better, and it's helpful. TikTok is great, but there's sort of limited scope as to what can happen and what you can see on TikTok. Facebook is not so bad. You can see a bit of what's happening on Facebook. But this is a Saturday night, and it is Talk and Sip. And I always ask this question: what is it that you're drinking? What are you drinking on YouTube? What are you drinking on TikTok? What are you drinking? Get a drink, and let's have a drink. Now, I'm going to be having tonight. It's a sorrel beer. Sorrel beer. Yeah, who knows sorrel beer? Yeah, promoting sorrel beer. Yes, I'm having sorrel beer. Yeah, and I'll also have some sparkling water, some sorrel beer and sparkling water. Sorrel beer and sparkling water, which is good and which is healthy. Not too much, not too little as well. And I think because sorrel is good, and DNG, Dezzers and Ghettos in Jamaica, that's really awesome. Yeah, so that's great. That's fantastic. And yeah, so the topic tonight is auditing government. Is it political or prudent? You know, when you have different governments move in or take over, you know, and a classic example with the United States with Biden losing, well, via Kamala Harris and Donald Trump coming. What you're seeing right now is the whole thing with USAID, the education sector there, where they are scrutinizing and they are trying to find and trying to get some savings with Elon Musk. So you got the richest man in the world actually scrutinizing and trying to audit. But of course, many people say it's political. So is it right and is it wise for when persons going to office that they scrutinize the government scrutinize opposition? I believe it's very important, but is it the government is the right one to do it? And also we are seeing eventually in the UK, you saw recently with Kemi Badenoch took over from the leadership of the Conservative Party, Kemi Badenoch and versus Keir Starmer. And you keep hearing Keir Starmer saying every week, even at Prime Minister's question time, there's a 20 billion pounds black hole. So it is like a mini audit that shows that there's a 20 billion black hole which has been there. And then also at the same time, in Jamaica, you're having elections which are coming up very soon. And there are talks about money not being accounted for or missing or whatever like that. There's going to be some level of auditing as well. So ladies and gentlemen, let me just start the show, and then we just rock and roll for tonight. Thank you. Well, welcome, and thank you so much for joining. And for those who are on different platforms, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram as well, I want to thank you so much for joining, and much appreciated for you to join. And remember to like and to share and to like the video as well. You know, it's a thought-provoking topic when it talks about exploration of government auditing. You know. Driving into this crucial question: auditing government is a political maneuver, is it prudent, the necessity in an era where transparency and accountability are more important than ever. Government auditing stands at the crossroad of public trust and fiscal responsibility. Um, and as we speak, auditors across the globe poring over financial statements, scrutinizing public spending, working to ensure that taxpayers' money is used effectively and efficiently. That's the key thing. Working to see if taxpayers' money is used efficiently and, you know, efficiently. Now, one thing I was thinking about this week in respect of government auditing and their predecessors, the Trump Republican Party has started the ball rolling by auditing USAID, or some will say it is a revengeful act. It's being vengeful. It's like waiting for that moment where he can actually, you know, scrutinize and take them to task. And he's got Elon Musk, the richest man in the world. I think also one of the good things maybe of the richest man in the world is that, of course, you know, he won't be, you know, sidestep or being getting thirsty for finances or for running, you know. So therefore, maybe it's a good thing it's a rich man. But anyway, that's a matter of thought. There's a saying, as I always say, that you vote out the government and you get the government in. Does that make sense? You vote out the government and you get the government in. And in the UK Labour Party, the first audit of the Conservative government by the Labour Party, with Labour government on the Keir Starmer, is to say there's a £20 billion black hole. £20 billion black hole. And as in Jamaica, on the brink of a general election, is incumbent. Is incumbent. And that's a question. More desperate to hold on to power so as not to be exposed by possible findings, and would the possibility of the success of the polls of the PNP instigate an audit? Is it the PNP to instigate an audit? And that's a big question. Now, auditing a predecessor administration is a complex issue, and that can be both be politically charged and prudent, depending on the circumstance and execution. Political consideration. Auditing a previous administration like Trump's by Biden can be seen as politically motivated. It may be perceived as an attempt to discredit political opponents. Such audits can exacerbate partisan tensions and divisions within the government. Yep. And therefore, one might have their backs against the wall and say, hang on a second, are you the right person to do so? Prudent governance. There are varied reasons for conducting such audits, it is said. Ensuring accountability. Audits can uncover potential misuse of funds or power. Improving transparency. They can provide clarity on government operations and spending. Learning from past practices, using best practices. Audits can identify areas for improvement in government processes, challenges, and best practices. To maintain credibility and effectiveness, audits should be conducted, as they say, as it is put, by an independent, non-partisan entities to avoid accusations of political bias. Thank you for joining me. Focus on systematic issues rather than targeting individuals. Aim to improve government operations and fiscal responsibility rather than score political points. It is important to note that both administrations, and I've even juxtaposed even with Jamaica, the UK as well, have faced scrutiny. For example, special counsels have investigated both Trump and Biden regarding the handling of classified documents, highlighting the need for consistent oversight regardless of political affiliation. Ultimately, while auditing predecessors, it can be contentious. It can also serve as a crucial tool for maintaining government integrity and improving operations when conducted properly and with clear, nonpartisan objectives. It is very important and it's very crucial at this time as one seek transparency, objectivity, accountability in governments worldwide to show that there need to be a level of auditing. There need to be a level of transparency. You see, in Jamaica, we talk about with the Auditor General, who seems to be the arm that want to scrutinize things, that audit things, that investigate things, that question things. And it's very important that these arms, these areas, I talk about even like the Integrity Commission. Many people do not like to hear that word because sometimes they say the Integrity Commission is biased towards against the present government and more aligned to the opposition. But the most important thing that I always say is that one should always check as to the messenger. Who is the messenger? The messenger is very crucial, you know. But is the messenger more crucial than the message? Right? The message, the messenger. I think there was a recent thing in Jamaica when they're talking about spies going into different schools. How do you separate the messenger from the message? And that's sometimes a very thin line between separating the messenger from the message. But the principles of accountability and transparency is very crucial. Auditing a government, because in any organization, and when Inland Revenue or the tax office or HMRC come and they want to scrutinize and want to investigate charities or investigate companies, company directors or so, they will scrutinize them. And then you wonder at the same time, so where is that scrutiny for the government? Where is that scrutiny for all these different money which is coming? Like, for example, in the USAID, and they're finding and they're highlighting and putting their fingers on many different things. You talk about so much money which has been going for that money for. I don't have the list here. There's a massive list, of course. I won't really get into that. The list for Sesame Street, the list for even 1.5 million to Jamaica. The question is, what is that 1.5 million for? Who got that money? You know, where's the audit for that? All these sort of questions. So therefore, if and when an opposition becomes a government, is it prudent for that opposition to scrutinize and to audit a new government? I mean, the opposite, the incumbent, the one which was recently government. You know, I think in a way that one shouldn't really care, in a sense, how you hurt feelings as well, because I was watching and I'm going to play the video. I believe it is very nice. I was watching some recent appointment into the Senate in Jamaica, and it was lovely watching it. And these guys dapper dressing, and the opening of Parliament where everyone was just really shocking and looking great. And you just wonder sometimes, are there any baggages there? You know, are there any baggages as well in the opposition as well? And if the opposition or want to actually scrutinize, will it that it will flash up in their face and say, you go there, you really want to go there, you really want to go there? So therefore there's a need also, and that's where the whole question about an independent person that come in, independent organization that come in. I question even if an auditor general can be, because the auditor general one will say is a creature of creation of Parliament, just like you say the Integrity Commission is a creature of government. All it keeps saying is a creature. It's like a duppy, you know what I'm saying? A creature of government at the same time. So therefore, there's such a need for what should I say? Integrity, such a need for uh, accountability, and all those things. Now, when you talk about now the in Jamaica, the wisdom of a new government auditing its predecessor, such as if, let's for argument's sake, if Mark Golan was to triumph over Andrew Holness in an upcoming general election, it's is a complex issue with both potential benefits and risk. Accountability, as I say again, and I say it for in Jamaica, ensure proper use of public funds and adherence to financial regulations. That is so important. Transparency, provide clarity in government operation and spending to the public. Improvement, Audits may identify areas for enhancing government processes and financial management. Potential risk, tensions. Okay, there will always be tensions. Such audits can be perceived as politically motivated, potentially exacerbating partisan divisions, disruption. Extensive audits might divert resources from current governance priorities. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm having a sorrel drink. What are you having? Let me know what you're drinking today. Yeah. Considerations for Jamaica. Yeah. And this is one of and this is a hallmark. And if you look on the flyer had different countries. It had America, Trump, and Biden. I don't know why I didn't put Kamala, but Biden is the person that will need to be scrutinized. In the UK, Kemi Badenoch and Keir Starmer. In Jamaica, Golding and Andrew Holness. Who is going to win? And this is very important. This is why I keep saying all the while, and I always say like a broken recorded tape. It's very important that people get involved in the political process. It is very important that persons go out and to vote. It's very important that you move from that 37% of those who always come out and vote and make it move up into the 60%, 50, 60% or so of persons who get active in the process. Because what will happen, and what many people say, many pundits will say this, that 37% is like a safe zone for the political parties, the green and orange, a safe zone. So all you got to do is work and bring in your people out. And therefore, just like at the last election, and I know I'm straying away slightly, the last election, 37% came out. 405 or 408,000 voted for the JLP. 305 or 308 voted for the PNP. Total just over 700,000. So, and those who were able to vote and had the ability to vote and were qualified to vote was 1.9 million. So what about that 1.2 million people? That 1.2 million people need to be active as much in the political process. Considerations for Jamaica. In Jamaica context, several factors are very relevant. Constitutional mandate. The Auditor General currently, and she's Miss Pamela Monroe Ellis, appointed in 2008, is responsible for the effectiveness of the government financial management systems. Legal framework. The Financial Administration and Audit Act provides the basis for financial management and auditing in Jamaica. The independence. The Auditor General role is designed to be independent, which could help mitigate concerns about political motivations. It is independent. Is it independent? Right? It is independent. Is it independent? Or will they be shut down? Because I keep hearing each time there's a cry and there's a suit, a lawsuit, which will be upcoming every time one touch. So therefore, the free reign could be this. Now, whenever the change of guard, whenever there's a change of guard, should there be a full scrutiny of the previous administration? Full scrutiny. And could it be that they're one of the motivation of administrations who are actually governments, maybe that they fear the outcome of any investigation, the outcome of any scrutiny, things which are hidden, things which are unaccounted for. And this is a very uncomfortable time. This is a very uncomfortable discussion. This is a very uncomfortable topic. Send it to a couple of persons and it's a very good topic. But do people want to talk about it? Will people talk about it? And we've got to get to the core of the whole thing. Best practices. If a new government decides to conduct audits, let's look at that. I'd love to hear what you say. Thank you for coming, Tashiba, Vanessa, Gabriel, Edwards watching. Thank you for those watching on TikTok. Thank you for those watching on YouTube. Thank you for those watching on and Instagram as well. But remember, invite you to come over onto the YouTube channel, which would be great. Let's get into this a bit more. The 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 essence. If a new government decide to conduct audits, to use existing institutions, utilize the Auditor General's department, which is already mandated to perform this function. But can there be any other independent, like some Price Waterhouse and these other companies, focus on systematic issues, aim to improve overall government operation rather than targeting individuals? Operation than targeting individuals. And that is so crucial. Targeting the operation, not individuals. Maintain transparency. Ensure audit findings are made public, as is currently done with the annual report of the Auditor General. You know, when you think about what is happening in America now, and when you see every minute, I saw one of the Kennedy was talking about some of the findings which they have on there, and I saw a massive list which they're rolling off of USAID. And the question is, how is this helpful to the people of America? How is this helpful by such funds being out of the country when you got the help which is needed there? Now, that's not for me. That's for them to sort out, and that's an issue for America to deal with. But it's a good question to be asked. How the spending of this money is effective to the taxpayers of this country? How are the spending of money in Jamaica effective or helpful to the taxpayers, or not even the taxpayers, but also to the citizens? Because just because a person is not working or so, they're still a citizen. And I go back to this whole point when talk about 1962, and I always have to drop it in. That's my little grateful that this is my show. I can always drop this in. In 1962, when there was uh, uh, independence, or the claim for independence, or the assumption that this was independence, that's so much land which is all over, land which is now deemed as crown land. Such land should have been apportioned to the people of Jamaica. Those lands should have been apportioned to former slave owners, not slave owners, former slaves. I don't like to use the word slave because but former persons who was captured, who was working for free, to give them a leg up. That's what should have happened in order for people to step up on that ladder. Maintaining transparency, ensuring audit findings are made public as is currently done with the annual report of the Auditor General. In conclusion, while auditing predecessors can be contentious, Jamaica's existing institutional framework provides a mechanism for ongoing financial oversight regardless of changes in government. And the key is to ensure that any audits are conducted impartially, focus on improving governance, and adhere to establish legal and constitutional procedures. Yeah, that's the essence. That's the essence of this whole discussion, and I believe this is a crucial time, and it is very important. And I believe the litmus test, or the start of the whole process, or the start of everything, is with Donald Trump. Many people sometimes don't like the word Trump factor, but just like even when JD Vance went over into Munich and he was actually having a go, or some people say having a go at the Europeans or so, I believe it was very good. But it was 2 or 3 applause that he had. But certain things need to be leveling, which I won't even go into as that, because these platforms just censor you if you say certain things. Um, but with what is happening with America has set the stage whereby countries need to look within themselves and to find out how they can better themselves, independent of the United States of America, independent of the United Kingdom, independent of all these different countries. So whenever one sees something dry up, one should actually dig or drill, babe. But not drilling in America, but drilling in other places whereby you can see the flush of oil, figuratively or literally. And therefore, because there's a survivor mentality in people, there's a survivor mentality in Black people, and I'm such a an advocate, because I was watching something with what's her name, Motley, and she's been going around and she's been talking, and I keep saying to myself, why can't the best practices of Barbados, the best practice of St. Vincent, joining up with the CARICOM and joining up to be a force to be reckoned with, taking the best practices. And I'm talking when it comes on to corruption, because Transparency International recently say Jamaica has fell down, though it sort of stayed the same in a way. And that question need to be answered as to why the CARICOM, why can't they pull together as a force to be reckoned with and to stand strong? I believe to stand strong as a force, that would be powerful. But I want to just show something. I want to play a couple of videos of something. I was watching the opening of Parliament. I might get some guests coming on tonight. But who knows if they come on? No big deal. I was watching the opening of Parliament, and it was good. And one thing I must commend the present Prime Minister for is somehow, mentoring and new bloods, bringing in new blood into the system, bringing in new youthful energy into the system. And I'll play it shortly. You know, I'll see if Vanessa, put your hands up, if you wave your hands if you're ready. Wave your hands if you're ready, like Freddie. Good evening, Vanessa. How are you?
Good evening. I'm good.
First of all, what are you drinking?
Soon go for it now.
You
Well, I
forget.
Vietnam man. Vietnam.
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
some vitamin W.
You get some vitamin W, if anything like that.
Yeah.
Well, it's important, ladies and gentlemen. It's very important that as you come on, that you have something to drink. This is I'm having sorrel. This is sorrel, Vanessa.
You can't take the show after the show.
This is sorrel beer. Sorrel beer. Yeah?
Imagine that me just have like a water I drink.
You have water. May I have some water still. May I have crystal punch.
All
Crystal.
right.
We call it crystal punch. That's what they call water in a crystal punch.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Vanessa. I don't know if you heard my opening or so. Um, which I was talking about the whole aspect of auditing government, political or prudent. Successive governments, because they always say when you vote out a government, guess what you get in? You get in the government. You vote out the conservative, you get in Labour. You vote out Andrew Holness JLP, you get in PNP for anything, or
Well, you get
Andrew
the
Holness.
byproduct of policy of the
Yes,
political party,
yes, yes. So one of the things that I was talking about is auditing. Like how you see Trump has sort of set the stage, everybody's watching, everybody's getting worried, but he has set the stage whereby he's now scrutinizing the spending of the previous administration, or scrutinizing spendings which have been going on for years, and say, hang on a second, what is this? How relevant is this? And should successive governments for different countries start to adopt a thing whereby they scrutinize the spending of their previous administration? And could it be that the previous administration tend to or want to stay in power because they are scared of what may come out out of the web? What's your take on that?
Well, if you were not scrutinizing your current
Mm.
or your predecessors,
Yeah,
then you would not be government accountable.
yeah,
And there's a principle in parliamentary principle that you share the praise and you share the blame as the
yes,
the leader. So I guess additionally, I keep saying this, and I don't know how much I'm going to beat this drum, but you have different professions fighting over. Would I say fighting?
Yeah.
Contending. Let me put it in a milder word, over parliament that do things very different. People that people that you are lawyers, they are used to upholding the law,
Yes.
and something else. There are different types of lawyers.
Yes.
There are legislative lawyers who write laws and policy.
Mm.
And for example, I'll just give you an overview. You want to draft a body
Yeah.
for, let us say, for making IDs for fishermen, fisher folk.
IDs,
Yeah,
identification
I'm
cards.
just giving you a figment,
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
you're making a body. So you would set out this body as a statutory body. And you have to have some people that is a secretary for the body. They are
Mm.
executive secretary. And
Mm.
you set out the qualifications. You set out some people that govern the body. You
Yes.
would like to know that the fish that we are eating is healthy, for example.
Yes.
And I'm just talking about accountability. I'm going somewhere with this.
No, I'm
And
listening to you.
you write this in law. Now, all of these bodies have to have people, and the political parties contend over which one of their loyalists get into this fishing board, because the
Yeah.
law
Yes.
says so. So you are going to have, say, you have A party going to have his member, B party, and possibly you have all fishermen who are governing the body that looks whether the fish is good for the general population. So it's
Yes.
like a kid in a candy store. um where I'm going with this is that you write the laws and you put in the laws things that can lead to corrupt practices.
Mm.
Yeah. For
Yeah. Yeah.
example, there was that guy. What was his name again? The one that they found in the hole. Mm, Gaddafi.
Got
Gaddafi.
got off. Yeah. Yeah.
He had a law in Egypt. Was it Egypt at the time, in Egypt, that said that 30% of all the business have to be owned by an Egyptian. And then he set up a separate thing that said each Egyptian, if to be on this body, you have to have X amount of money, you have to have
Mm.
X. And his friends were only the people by that law who could qualify. Like it
Mm.
would be only millionaires. Like you'd say you have to have $50 million.
Yes.
No poor people were going to be there. So the rich just kept getting rich out of this 30% of the companies. I say this to say, when you look at the USAID and all of those bodies and who are
Mm.
staffing what and how they are spending what and what agendas are being backed, I mean, those things carefully need to be audited, because after a while, when you have one set of profession dominating any space, they start setting up each other,
Yes.
and yes, they start backing their own agenda. So of course, um, the non, for example, you have a lot of lawyers there. The non-legal persons who go in, they say,
Mm.
let me see what these lawyers and their friends have been doing,
Yes.
only to find out that they were taking money to socially engineer. You remember a time when I came out in the public very angrily about them socially, it's on another point, but I'm going somewhere, socially
Yeah.
engineering a reggae queen from another culture, another country,
To make her a queen, to try to make her a king
to
queen.
step into Marcia Griffith's shoes. It was direct social engineering. As a social person, they didn't bank on somebody like me getting into music and my part. I have a different role in the music, I keep
Yes.
a different watch because I am trained differently. And I say this to say a lot of social engineering, and Jamaica has been targeted because we are a popular culture, and we are, we have put Rastafari in a can and we burn it out and we do all kind of things. But the principles was that there are certain type of liberty that the Christians and even the Rastas don't like with the transsexual and all of that agenda that we couldn't talk about. Even if our
Yes.
artists sing about it, they would be locked up, their visas would be taken away, all sorts of things would be done.
Mm.
And
Mm.
now this new president has come in and him say, wait, you cannot go into people's society and socially engineer. Who are you speaking for?
Yes.
You want to go around the world like Christopher Columbus did and socially engineer certain agendas. who are you speaking for? Because it's almost as if in Jamaica, for example, these policies that come from outside and these politicians who are getting the monies through these bodies, you can't say anything because somebody is benefiting. Conflict theorists, sociologists say conflict theorists, that if you want to know who is making a conflict, just look who is benefiting.
A lot of question that people are asking, even with the whole USAID thing and with the list which has been shared, and I mentioned about this 1.5 million which is being sent to Jamaica for whatever reason. A lot of people are asking, and there's a deafening silence as to who the money go to, how is it allocated, how they break it down, where is the sort of transparency.
And what have we become? What is the money being used for? The transparency, because under our noses, things we're getting in the school, the children in the school cannot count, coming out illiterate, large numbers.
Yes.
But they are coming out with a knowledge of early big woman and man talk about which gender, from who is transsexual, from who is bisexual. From who is straight and all. I'm thinking, hold on there. I think why are we all out of the closet hanging out about our sex lives? Surely this cannot be right. And there are some from the days of Sodom and Gomorrah, from the Bible days, there were certain things that the Creator Himself, the Bible that we have, we that was the first instrument of law, that did come out against. And you cannot just go into people's society and do all kind of things, as you like in the name of USAID. No, the cat is out of the bag, and it's going to affect Jamaica, because people love Jamaicans. No matter what we do, people love us. And people love our culture and they like the culture in its pure state. I'm talking, it's really a good part of our culture. People don't want to see our culture corrupt. And then when, people don't want to see our culture corrupt. A lot of people don't want to see it. So therefore, I'm sure President Trump, when him say Jamaica on the list for certain things, and he knows that culturally they have been trying to pass some kind of laws in Jamaica for some years now.
Yes.
And we were wondering, I could have also what make them, but there's a clique of them that is benefiting financially.
Yes. But don't you think something of this nature should be really open and exposed as to the level of transparency behind it, where the breakdown of this 1.5 million, where the money go,
But something, Silburn? I am going back to the staffing of the parliaments.
Yeah.
What is the point of having auditors in the parliament? Do we have any in the member of parliament? We have any finance people? Because the minister of finance sometimes happens to be a lawyer. The minister of health is.
Oh, you mean the lady? She's a lawyer?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Okay. Yeah.
What is their because what is the skill set of these people? Because this man comes from possibly an accounting background, a business background, and everybody take him like, them have no, what's going on with that. Yeah. And he comes from a very different background. So he looks at things very differently. Now I want to ask a question in the face of justice and laws and ethics. We have a parliament, or even the White House, that is a profession that is dominated by lawyers with codes of ethics.
Yes, that's a good point.
I don't know how the IT profession is set up, because you have Mr. Musk and the youngsters helping President Trump. They are the IT people. He's a business skill set. I'm not sure what his qualifications are, but he's a businessman. I know. I don't know what his degrees and stuff is in, because sometimes experience is the qualification.
Yeah.
And I want to know, how come you have so much lawyers, a profession in politics that is a secondary nature to legal minds, that we respect the office of legal lawyers in every jurisdiction. They are governed by systems of canons of ethics and regulatory body.
Yeah.
I am going theoretically with this, and then I am going practically with it.
Yeah.
And I want to know how so much injustice, slackness, lack of ethics, because if I look at the canon of ethics in all the countries around the world as a legal policy analyst,
Yeah.
I can see that the canons of ethics speaks to the non-commission of crimes. So therefore, as a lawyer, if you are in your practice or you're in parliament, for example, or the White House, and you see corruption going on in the legal system or in the systems governing you, what is what is going on? Why you think people put that set of people there? Because they are known for justice and doing what is right. What is the point of having so many of them there if they have failed us as a profession? Going wrong people going into the right, those are the right spaces to do the right things. But right now, we don't have the backlash of it is that we don't see people are using the laws and the systems to commit crime and feather their nest. And now, if I was to look at the systems, they have what is called presidential privilege and parliamentary privilege in
Yes.
Jamaica. I'm going somewhere that when people do all of these things, when you are an attorney, you're governed by the General Legal Counsel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all of those canons about not committing crime,
Yes.
upholding the rule of law. I don't have the canons of ethics in front of me, but people, you can visit the canons of ethics. Law by its very nature is a public profession. And the parliamentary privilege, they take off where the canons of ethics conflict with parliamentary privilege, and members of the public our resources are going to waste, our justice systems are failing us, there is corruption everywhere. What, from a legal perspective or an implementation perspective, are we going to do to that parliamentary and presidential privilege that people have been having, where they do things and they get away with it? I think there's something in the American system where you jail them. I have never seen any politician in Jamaica going to, or have you seen any politician in America going to jail or in Jamaica? I want to make a call. I cannot speak because I haven't done that in-depth research.
Yeah. I think what I'm getting, what you're saying is that you've got persons in parliament, in politics, or lawyers, and they are governed by certain canons.
Yeah.
And but it seems like they're not following through with such canons.
Well, perhaps there's a slip and a loophole within the legal system whereby when you get in parliament, you have privilege. And these people, you're choosing these people by virtue of their profession, thinking that they come with certain things. But now we know that there is this parliamentary privilege that what you call it now? Is it culpates or allows them to get away from certain things that they do. But then again, you have all of these laws about auditing as to where you're going. That should you have codes of, I'm sure you have codes of ethics for politicians.
Code of ethics, yes. Yeah. And of course, it's like the seven Nolan principles as well, you know?
Yeah. So those are toothless laws or ethical principles. Because I remember some years ago, I did a paper called The Attorney's Role in Ethics. And I looked at attorneys who are journalists or people in law like yourself who is a journalist that have a very different, people would look at you for a different sense of what is.
Yeah.
And a point that I made was it was with the WikiLeaks that the IT profession does not have codes of ethics like lawyers. But somebody felt a conscience to unleash these papers, knowing that these papers were showing that there are people in poor countries
who are being affected
by this corruption, and they leak it out. They had that conscience,
so
not a code of ethics.
So what you're saying, Assange, for argument's sake, Julian Assange, recognize, or some other person as well, recognize that, hey, this is wrong, and they expose it. And what you're saying is that there's not a sort of canon or some sort of ethics that really officially govern them, like
The
lawyers.
IT,
That's what you.
yes, but the IT people, because of the information age,
Yeah,
they
which they
have
can
their
see. Yeah,
own moral code and conscience. Whereby
mm,
somebody look at this, and Miss Donald Trump is not an easy man. He
yeah,
went for his friend who can dig. He went for his friend who has that. Because if you send a lawyer who is in parliament to conduct this kind of investigation, they have a little kangaroo court where them call to them friend and them send somebody around. So he went and got because you can't do the IT more than the young people. They are the ones in charge of it. And he went and he got, people are saying these guys are young. Listen, why we have to wait until we're on Zimmer frame to go into parliament and
yes,
our White House? And he went to get the expert to dig out what he wants, the skill set. I am
yeah,
going to the skill set that the old things are not working. And we can see in societies who are, we would say, more advanced than us, even
yes,
though Jamaica was a first world.
yeah,
We can see that the systems in those countries that we look to are failing us. And we want to turn our attention to Jamaica, because I feel that when the lawyers are caught misbehaving when they become politicians, the General Legal Counsel should strike them off.
So
I feel
therefore,
like there should be a piggyback that you
so
don't even have any profession to go to, because your conduct is, they
yeah.
catch you stealing in parliament and you're still a liar.
Okay, let's use a classic one because this is public knowledge, and I find it very interesting that he's still there. Delroy Chuck, for argument's sake, the Minister of Justice, who encouraged his colleagues to break the law in the sense of not cooperating with the Integrity Commission by disclosing their family details. Of course, more than likely they may have gone ahead and do it anyhow still, but that is what he was doing. One would say such a person, was he operating in parliamentary privilege, whereby maybe it was saying
Well,
in
well,
in in the house
well,
that
we would need to.
I mean maybe he's protected from
Well,
that.
well, on the face of it, it would seem that way, but I don't have the
Yes,
codes of parliament in front of me.
yes,
But
yes,
I would assume that under that umbrella, that he is asserting some kind of protection. Otherwise, and the lawyers, they know the loopholes, they know they can get away with these
yes.
things, and so they do what. Let us scrutinize the body that even regulates them, because basically, even the body that regulates them,
Mm,
even as a profession, they should come out like the IT people and say, wait, you're a lawyer here and you're doing this. A letter
yes.
from whoever is the chair lady of the council. Yeah.
Mm,
A
mm,
letter should have come from her to say that this is the council
yeah.
and you're a lawyer. Come on, you can't be telling that is against the faith. Even to make a statement then that, look, this is not what we support as. But let us look at the structure of the General Legal Council.
Yes.
The members of the council come from the Jamaican Bar Association, most of them.
Mm,
And I don't know if the council has got any member on it from the general public, because they are self-regulatory.
yes.
And the Bar Association, as you know, is the interest group that
Mm,
represents the lawyers. And by construction of the board of the General Legal Council, I would want to see if I can pull it up on my phone, how they are constructed, because most of them come from the interest group that
mm,
protect the lawyers. So that body there, I don't know how the Law Society of England is set up, if most of the members there are coming from by the way, let me ask you, which interest group in England can dominate the Law Society if them think them bad?
you're asking a question.
It could be, or it
Yeah.
could be a statement. It could be
Mm,
anything.
yes, yes, yes.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Mm,
But our parliament is, we have made, because whatever we see in America, this is a Jamaican. It's a global
mm,
program. You are in England, you speak on British. You're global. This is a talk and sip is a global thing. But we are
yes.
Jamaican, so we mind. President Trump has gotten a big broom, and I don't want to come out with my shovel. My shovel. In fact, he must have a snow shovel, because tonight
Yes.
is winter. So he come out with this
Mm,
shovel and him shoveling up all the ice and the snow and the broom, and because no broom can't sweep at this time of the year, in most of the
Mm-hmm.
states it's ice, even Florida. And him come out with this shovel and he's so shoveling it up. So
So I just pulled up something there. I don't know if you can see it. I just
uh
pulled up the members of the council for the
the
General Legal
cheerleader is who?
Council.
Miss Denise Kitson. Is she the
Miss
cheerleader?
Dennis, yes, Miss Dennis
Yeah.
Kitson,
Yeah.
chair. Marlene Aldred is one of the council, one of the
Well,
members.
she worked, I think, at the Attorney General's chambers, Marlene.
Yes.
Very competent lawyer.
Richard James Ayub,
I don't know
George
him.
Clue, Justice Nicole Foster Pusey,
Yes, there are judges who should be rightly there because they have panels that discipline lawyers and you need judges there.
Leonard Green, Michael Ilton,
Yeah,
Anna-
brilliant lawyer.
Annalisa Lindsay,
Mhm.
Simone Mahu, Casey, Derek McCoy, Lowell George Morgan, Janet Morrison, Hillary Beverly Reed, Donovan Walker, Ian G. Wilkinson.
There are no members of the public that can sit on that board. And all of those people are
Mm,
members of the Jamaican Bar Association who chooses who to send onto the board onto that board. And
okay.
now that the lawyers are in parliament misbehaving and telling people to break the laws, what have you to say?
Yes. So what you're trying to say is that their silence
I don't
makes
know.
them.
I don't know. People not paying attention in Jamaica because when you look at people who are on these boards, there are no poor people there.
Mm,
There is no one because when I look, let us go back to America and then come back to
mm,
Jamaica again.
mm.
I'm going to see if I can find the construction of the council. And because when I came into America and I see everywhere have poverty, even Jamaica, the whole world have poverty. I am wondering
Mm.
if people are hungry in Jamaica, in the US. What you taking how much millions to socially engineer transgender when people are hungry? What
Yeah,
is the scale of priority then? Eh?
yeah, yeah. That's a very good point. And even different countries when they work out, when you add up the figures and then you sort of scrutinize America, because one of the things that Trump is saying, how does this is this quality money which has been spent, how does it benefit the USA? And this is a question, and you wonder at the same time the amount of people who are making lots of noise. And I was looking at some figures: Elizabeth Warren, Pelosi, these guys getting like 200 and so thousand, and they are millionaires, man. They're some serious millionaires. These guys are
Because,
making.
all right, when you look at the General Legal Council, when I AI it, it
Yes.
says it is the statutory body in Jamaica responsible for regulating the legal profession. The statutory, which is the legal regime, let us break it down for the common man.
Mm,
Statute people, little people that don't have big brain, mean the law.
mm,
Regime combats money laundering, which is primary legislation through, um, and all of those things that they do. And so when
mm.
you look at the function of them, they are for maintaining ethics to
Yes.
which all attorneys should adhere to.
Mm,
Yes. So I am trying to look at the bylaws for the General Legal Council to see um, the construction of the council.
yes. Yes. It is very interesting. The whole bit about accountability, transparency, auditing of government at the same time, and you have to ask yourself the question: is it okay? Okay, it is like a network. It is like a
Mhm.
network, which is like Udema, old boys network. I don't know why they say old boys network now, because women is in that network. So it's a all network of female and male, and they try to keep the momentum, keep the space going. And I
Hmm.
don't think they want it to benefit the small man, if anything. I don't believe so. And that is why you need someone that can come in sometime and really drain the swamp. I use
Yes,
that term.
that
I
yes,
use
you need a soldier in there
yeah.
to
And as someone said to me on TikTok when I posted the video, and what they said was, I would prefer a third party to conduct review and share their finding. It's hard to find people currently within the different parties who are truly able to be impartial and honest. That is when it comes on to uh, scrutinizing and to investigate. And you wonder if they, whenever there's a new party, and I'll have to put this out as well to whether it is, if PNP is in power and JLP win, there should be a full scrutiny and
yes.
clean house. If JLP is in power and PNP win, there should be a full
So we need to
scrutiny as well.
codify these things in law.
Yes.
We need to have but knowing politicians, they would play politics with it and cover up and hide what they feel like
Yeah.
hiding. Because cross party lines, they are linked by a profession.
All
Most
right.
of
Okay.
them are
All
from
right.
a dominant profession
All right. All
in
right. All right.
Jamaica.
All right. Let's watch this. Let's watch this video here, and I'm gonna let's use this video for argument's sake. Um, can you hear it?
Yeah.
All right. This is a
No,
video
no,
of,
I can't
okay.
hear you.
No,
It's a movement,
there's
but
no there's no sound
Mr.
yet. The sound is
Marlon
gonna come.
Andre
oh,
Morgan.
I, Marlon Andre Morgan, do solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica, that I will uphold and defend the Constitution and the laws of Jamaica, and that I will conscientiously and impartially discharge my responsibilities to the people of Jamaica.
Mr. Marlon Andre.
I solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica, that I will uphold and defend the Constitution and the laws of Jamaica, and that I will conscientiously and impartially discharge my responsibilities to the people of Jamaica.
Okay. What I do not have, Vanessa. What I do not have. Let me sort of bring this thing back here. What I do not have is the video. I'm going to see if I can find the video. The video of after being sworn in, they go and say hi to their opposites. All right, they go and say hi to their opposites, and when you look at the camaraderie with their opposites, you see the friendliness.
this man here that just swearing, what is his profession? What is he? Where is he
Well, I'm
from?
not too sure what his profession, but
What's
he's
his
in
name again?
Marlon Marlon Morgan.
Marlon
He
Morgan.
Yes.
Oh.
I'm going to see if I can find the video, but one can see the level of camaraderie between when they greeted each other. And it makes you say to yourself, oh, hang on a second, these guys are, well, we all know that they are buddies and stuff
I
like that.
found what I'm looking for.
Yeah,
The
go for
Legal
it.
Profession Act, the first schedule. The
Mm,
members of council shall, when you're looking at
yes.
legislation, shall be the Chief Justice or his nominee, the Attorney General or her nominee. I guess Marlene, what's Aldred would be from the Attorney General. One
Yeah.
member appointed by the minister, so that is a political appointee. 13 members being legal practitioners in accordance with subsection 2. So
Mm,
those members shall be appointed by the minister upon nominations by such body or bodies as may be for the time being be
yes.
recognized by him representing members of the legal profession. So, however, until one or more professional body or bodies is or are formed to represent attorneys in Jamaica, they must come from the Jamaican Bar Association. So
Mm,
they said, let me read it again. Body or bodies are to form recognized by him representing members. So this is the body. So the Jamaican Bar Association is the group that represents, they are the lobby group for them. And there are 13 members of them on the council. And anybody else that comes has to be a group that represents lawyers from Jamaica. And that is possibly maybe the only one, Jamaican Bar being the Northern Bar, the different bar, the lobby groups. And basically, I can see why they are self-regulator because of specialism. And we know about subsidiary legislation. But I'm also looking at the filters where the lawyers go. And the fact that many of our lawyers are in our parliament, and neither the parliament is able to hold them accountable I'm talking about the politics now. Neither the parliament it can hold them these people accountable, nor neither can the body formed to protect them. What you said that brother the name again, because I want to Google him. I want to look
Marlon. It was on my show some time ago. Marlon Morgan.
Okay, let us see what it Marlon Morgan, Jamaica.
Okay, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna play. I don't know if you're gonna hear any audio for this one, but I just want to show that after Delano Seabright was appointed. Can you hear?
Yeah, I'm listening. No. It's not coming up. I can see like it moving. Soon come.
Yeah. You can see, yeah?
Yeah, I can see, but I'm not hearing the sound.
Okay. All right. I don't know what happened to the sound, but no. There's no sound there. There's no sound there.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that
okay. No. Look at this. Look, this is an example of what I'm talking about.
Oh, the friendliness.
Your friendliness, but no, those are on the same side. But you're gonna look on the other side now. Okay, so that's the same side. We're speaking to Kamina Johnson there. See, speaking to thingy there.
Yes, man, Silver and Mayor go Panama and man together.
Okay. Look at this now. You see this?
Oh!
See? Everybody's happy?
Yeah, something bind them. There are so many bodies in society that bind people, you know.
So do you think that they would actually investigate each other?
Well, Mr. Trump coming into the White House now and him investigate, because obviously he does not have that umbilical cord of profession tied to them. He don't have no respect for no hierarchy of profession, because some of them, because they are lawyer this and lawyer that, and they're in there, and nobody, you know, justice when them Mr. Man, and
he's not a part of a team.
He's not a part of a part of the business clique. So the business clique is now sorting out the injustice and the social engineering that is going on in the White House. Since we like to follow America, when they sneeze, we catch a cold. I want us to take a leaf out of that very book, to audit, to look at our governmental systems, our parliamentary systems, all the networks that are forming, because we can't just sit down and say we are going to give things to them. Interest groups and different. That's why I say, we need a different, I don't know which profession or what, we need a different type of leaders. We need a different skill set.
Yes.
Right? Because as I was saying about the Trinidad, remember about the social engineering of the reggae queen. The music did need a different type of skill set to be there nosing and peeping about, you know. So I had to say, and I put on my head wrap because I'm going out for war like Nanny. And I said, no, I see you clearly, because I've been watching them for years before. And when I saw that this thing was cut, this boil was bursting, I said, no, you go and be a calypso queen. You can sing the reggae, but you are not any reggae queen. The queen of reggae is not even dead. The king of reggae is dead, and nobody dare try to upstage him. But you want to, the social, even though it seemed to be another point, I'm talking about, take the example of social engineering, or they can erode cultures and erode finances and mess up systems, rob the whole of the money, use it to do what? Rubbish. What is that now? To turn a man into a woman. A man that is clearly born a man, you turn him into a woman and using how much money? He should use this, they should use their own money. I want to turn a man now, say you're going to give me 3 million US to wire out my body.
Well, one of the things that was coming through, I believe, from America and through the Biden campaign and through the Democrats, and I think a lot of people were having their opposition, was the way they were trying to tell. I think Obama went into some country and trying to tell them how to live and how to operate and so like that. I think it was in Uganda as well. And a lot of these countries, the money that was supposed to be given to them was taken back, in a sense, in regards to this sort of drive. So I believe
backdoor business there.
Yeah, so I believe that with the Trump factor there, and even with Vance going into the Munich and actually saying that there is this man who is there praying outside this clinic. He's not shouting, he's not making any noise, he's just standing there praying in his mind, and they arrest him. So therefore, so what Vance was saying, you guys are actually making freedom of expression and freedom of speech something like a backward thing.
Yeah.
And
so
I
we
believe
have to be vigilant.
got to be very vigilant, or you're going on a slippery slope. And your question, as someone said, I don't know if you said it, that whenever you throw a stone in a pen, and which pig squeal out more, the one that is being impacted. Now, there's this thing here in regarding the investigation and auditing. In Jamaica context, it says several factors are relevant. Constitutional mandate. The Auditor General is the one who is supposed to be effectively being the auditor, supposed to be the one that is scrutinizing things.
You know what I want them to audit? You have some of these professional bodies, where the head secretary is related to the chairman or the chairman's son. And you have several members of staff in there who are related. The son having children with the other one, and there's so much nepotism in those bodies that it's just, no outsider can go in there because they are bound by family.
Godfathers and godmothers and everything.
Yeah, because for example, you have a mother-in-law in there, and let me see, a daughter-in-law in that place. Then you have 2 sister-in-laws, for example. I'll think about a certain place. 2 sister-in-laws, and then the person who used to be the head was the man or the chairman was like his son, baby mother, or something like that. So you as an outsider go in there and try to make any change. And I wonder, where's the Auditor General in the face of this, and why are these bodies are not being audited to look for things like nepotism? Because they're feathering is one thing if it's friend, but the family members.
Do you think that is one of the reasons why the CCJ is not very attractive in a sense by a lot of people, by feeling that they're too close?
Well, because of you see, America, that is a first world country, and they weren't so close, but you can see how close they were. So this is a first world country. I wonder if the auditing was to go on in England, what would happen? Like some of those home office places, and them need to be audited to see how the money going on in there and what them spending in there. Because I would pick on them, and you know why? Anywhere else, those people are in charge of Racial Equalities Commission, and there is so much employment related racism going on there that you wonder what are they commissioning, because what they are commissioning has not changed or improved. If you were to study the institutional racism, you see a little Uncle Tom put here and a little, but nothing significant. So that is what Donald Trump was looking at, seeing all this USAID. We cannot see anything coming out of it. So it would be interesting to turn this back to England to see what is going on there in England too. Not just in Jamaica. You live in England, America is doing it, and in Jamaica too. A lot of these bodies, when are they going to be audited to
Yes.
the lot of these bodies in Jamaica is what's the tax that the IRS? No, what?
HMRC in the
Yes.
UK, HMRC.
Like
The
even
question,
this new body that was cut off the other day, the Ministry of Justice cut in two. Was that money well spent? When you
yeah,
ever go downtown and see us that place smell down there, the sewage down there? Did you need another department, or could we have used that to clean up the sewage? Because and those housing downtown that is packing up and overtaking the sewage, and they have the Rock Hotel now. Could we have more of those for tourists, that tourists can walk up and down freely without crime and alleviate the poverty? And the technology ministry in Jamaica, with our culture and how rich it is, you sure there wasn't some kind of technology vehicle that we could use to have a portal to Jamaica and make the culture work for us? We have the Minister of Culture, and it's a big lady, and she has paid her dues. But I'm just saying, I mean, she's going to retire one day. Or is it that politicians don't retire?
no, they don't retire. I mean, right now you're it's remember it's golden age home, at the same
Okay, it's a pen because when they start having brain fog, all of them at a certain age, That's
yes,
why Mr. Trump, him know same my big man, Same just calling Elon and the young troop them, 'Cause remember that the young people I am calling upon you. Remember that whatever stench these old people create, you
yeah,
will have to run away to go to people's country for them
mm,
to tell you that you don't belong here. When you have
yeah,
you live in a country that has every potential to be a first world country, but all you can do is we dream of other people's countries. We are there. We are building those societies. We don't ever address our minds to holding these old goats accountable in our country. And
yeah,
if they are not doing their job, like Mr. Trump, him lock down the program. You see what him do? Him lock it down, because if he had them in their jobs, he didn't even give them time to prepare. He locked it down and sent the troops in, because they would have covered up everything. This is the
that's a
man
good,
who people think him
that's
is stupid.
that's a good point, That's a
You can't
very good
want them,
point. If
You
he gave
can't
them 30,
want them.
if he gave them 30 days notice or so, 15 days notice, you can't go find nothing.
Can't find. And then them say Elon was hacking in, so, and all them was talking all these things. So me no wonder what Elon Musk could have search for. Him can't rob money, so them will jail him. I could have what? Then we find out now. See the social engineering, and the whole heap of dash of money, and the whole heap of what? Hey, this is becoming like a movie, So we need popcorn.
So so
Film
so
and
so
watch the
so
movie.
so therefore in Jamaica you need someone to come in to sign some executive orders and actually,
What?
you know,
I saw some lawyers in England the other day. Yesterday, was it yesterday? Yesterday or the day before yesterday, I saw some lawyers in England. And they were sitting in the train. Lawyers, when they gang up, all they talk about is law. So I looked at them and said, "Are you lawyers?" Then them changed the subject to a movie. So here, because they were all white lawyers. So me
yeah.
with my little even up self now. Because me not know my place. I went there, and you want to see how they jaw turned. I said, "Hi, do you have executive orders here?" And they said, "No." And I said, "Oh, but you had the emergency legislation in COVID. By the way, I'm Vanessa. I'm so.
Yes.
And I said, you have emergency legislation. It begs the question of how these executive orders, of how we could look at them economically, corruption-wise, and how useful they can be with the pen, in the master stroke of someone from a business background who is used to
I,
signing checks, and because he can't find a check, I just see the man went one day to Silver, and he said, "I don't like these paper straws because they nudge my teeth." He said, "I want a plastic straws, but let's find an executive orders for
well,
that."
well, I'm gonna play something. I'm gonna play something which they're all thinking about doing, even with Obama from that period there. Keep talking. I'll find this
So
thing
as
here.
I was saying, how useful we are in
Yeah.
the hands of the prime minister, because now we have a non-lawyer prime minister, I want him to audit the work that is the legal people before him, all these lawyers who are in parliament and non-lawyers. I would like him to audit them because they know the loopholes in the system, you know, and they will lead him astray because he's not so au fait with stuff and the kind of advice that he's getting from those, because the lawyers are already telling all this that the people have that to uphold no law. Mr. Wallace, you taking advice from those lawyers. They are in parliament. Did you put them in your parliament or did you inherit them? And they are there telling you as a youngster, because Mr. Wallace is a young man, to disobey laws. Is that the kind of Jamaica? And are those the kind, Mr. Andrew Holness? I think you need to get rid of some of those types of politicians from around you who are telling people to disrespect and disobey laws. And then I want to know what is the code of ethics and the body that regulates lawyers, that lawyers going to important places and them not doing nothing.
Yeah.
There you go. You have a picture up now. 9797.
Okay, please.
No sound.
You can hear?
No, just the mouth moving, and it's maybe it's buffering. So no sound. I think because
can you hear Vanessa?
No, sometimes you have to move it back. Once you move it ahead, the buffer is when it sticks.
Okay, let's see if we can hear this.
No sound. I just see Mr. Obama mouth moving. Can't hear him. Maybe because you put it ahead. Some of these things you have to play them from the beginning.
Okay, so you're not hearing it then now, yeah? You aren't hearing it, yeah?
No.
Okay. I keep have to jump in from different.
Okay. But the other one they play.
But what it is about, what it's talking about is a lot of them are talking about cutting waste.
Oh,
Vanessa.
cutting waste.
That's what it's about. Yeah. Cutting waste. They're all talking about cutting waste, you know what I mean?
Well, it's a global problem with the waste, to be honest, you know.
Yeah.
And it can really clog up the environment.
Yeah. Which is the same thing which what's his name is doing. Donald Trump.
Okay.
Cutting waste.
Well, himself don't want the paper straw no more because you're cutting your nose to spite your face, because sometimes I put that paper straw in my mouth and the wooden spoon and they don't polish it, and my God, it can edge my teeth. So I tend to walk around with spoon in my bag.
Oh, you're supporting. Oh, you're also supporting.
You know, like that paper straw in my mouth. It kind of edge my teeth, you know. I not like it. So you know, him just come. I don't like that, you know. And I want, you see, Mr. Man is, you might not agree with everything him do, but I think Mr. Holness need to look at a man like Mr. Man that is telling people to disobey law, and him need to get an executive order that can just write him out. Say like lawyers who are telling people to disobey the law, let's get an executive order against them.
Yeah.
How could we use these orders in England and in Jamaica?
Can you hear anything?
Are you sure you're not muting it? I think your sound is not muted. Look at your computer. If there's two parts to the computer, and look if you mute the general sound on your computer, because it's not. We can see clearly, but no sound. Look if anything mute there. No sound.
You're not hearing it. Well, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I don't know what happened. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, or so like that, you know.
Okay.
But it's go on, yeah.
So the point is that all the use of executive orders and how you can use them to clean up corruption, because you can use delegate. Is there delegated legislate? Delegate, is there a form of delegated legislation? Because I am yet to scrutinize those executive orders and how they differ. They're kind of emergency legislation. Well, corruption is an emergency,
Well, I mean,
Social engineering is an
yeah,
emergency because pretty soon the human population will be wiped out because there will be no men impregnating women. The human species, when they don't use COVID to get rid of us, they want to use socially so we might not have anybody to do anything with because women and men mix up, all that can go.
listen, Vanessa. I was at the petrol station today, and I was at the petrol station today. I don't know what it was, and I was talking to this guy. Oh, something came up saying you can actually on a Shell app, you can pay for your petrol by using this app instead of coming inside the petrol station to pay. Of course, you can pay it at some of the pumps. And I look at it and I said to him, hang on a second. Everything is geared towards getting rid of humans for using AI and for using automation.
They
So
can't do
hang
it
on a
because somebody has to load it on.
whoa, 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 whoa. And I said to myself, hang on a second. I think the whole process is to get rid of humans and then robots are going to be the one doing everything. And the
Well,
humans are going to be sitting back and I'm nothing to do.
yes, a prophetess, they call her celestial, and this is conspiracy theory. Let me just warn you. But
Yes,
she's saying that there are a lot of non-humans among us, and the government knows it. They're, like the Bible spoke about the Nephilims and the falling angels, and they are around us, and they
yes.
are technologically more advanced than us. So we wonder if these other species want to take over. It's like they want to wipe us out of here for some. What is or who is this thing that that is possessing us to get rid of each other? In fact, we're all visitors to this planet. Why do we make the visit of other people to this
No,
planet so
I,
unpleasant?
I was just thinking about it. You go on the phone, you're making a phone call or so, and it keep pointing you towards an AI, keep pointing you towards another number. And then I always say, I just want to get a human.
It's
Kind
not
of, I
information.
just want
Yeah, it's become, and it's since COVID, because China is ahead of the and Russia and those people are ahead. They're into this technology and they are
yeah.
selling these products. And
Mm,
they are here and they will all trade globally.
yes.
And you can see what they are promoting for their own economies. Because now that people, you can say, I'm not buying your pen or I'm not buying your bottle that is so
Mm,
physical. They're into physical products. So now we can't see what they are selling. It is intangible, it is technology. So it
yes.
is another way to dominate e-commerce with products that we like. TikTok. I mean, it's
Yes.
now the new. We don't go to supermarket now. We can order a pound of flour on the TikTok or on Amazon Market. I mean,
Yes.
herbs. So it's other countries that want to trade use this technology, and human beings are in the middle of it because of the politics, and people want to make money. So the politics and the global bad living doesn't allow them. So they are intervening with the use of technology
Yeah.
to still be able to feed themselves, because first there was land and gold and then they rob all of the land and the gold and drive people away. So now the new gold is technology, and everybody is fighting over that cyberspace then and how to
Oh,
use it, and we are caught up in the middle of it. So it is possibly not that they want to so get rid of, but they want to get rid of
yes.
what is stopping them from living. Because
Yeah.
we would say Chinese are second class, this and
Yeah.
Africans are second class, this and white people this and white people that, and we say this human being is better than that version of human being, and we are not going to trade with China. And China say, well, I've got my
Yeah.
TikTok, I'm
All
going to.
right. So listen, in closing, in the last aspect of auditing with governments, do you think that an attorney general like for Jamaica can suffice in auditing the government in a sense, or we believe that
The Attorney General is a politician. They are chosen by construct. They are.
yes,
I think our system needs to change. That the Attorney General should be voted in by the public, and because when you look at this birthright citizenship, and they were trying to tamper with it. By the time President Trump put this ink on the paper, the next morning the Attorney Generals were out and about suing him to make him know this is not. No, if that was Jamaica and Andrew Wellness, like him, I think he want to pass an executive order banning all those people from coming back, that don't have nothing, because them people where get deported now have nothing. So him, right, I know if him could have find an order to ban them out of the place, and what would the attorney general would sit down and allow it? I never hear the attorney general coming out, come say nothing about nothing to defend no public, because they're the political construct of that office.
Creature of parliament. They are creature of parliament, just like the IC Commission, the creature of parliament. So therefore, are we saying then that effective auditing of the government would not be able to be done properly with an auditor general, and it would need to be an independent body, more independent?
A more independent body, because the attorney general is a lawyer who is under the code of ethics, but because they're also a member of parliament, parliamentary privilege, and these lawyers know the system, and that's why when President Trump is in, he's throwing them out. Because
anytime like judges come in and say you can't do that and you can't do that, and I say, hang on a second.
No, I want half of the money. Like this TikTok thing, the man said, me is a business, appear trillions and talk about, him said, take away the money from me. Because when you look at, I've been to like Georgia, when you see the level of poverty there, in his state, and that is by virtue of slavery and the Martin Luther King syndrome, where you still have those people fighting about the rights down there, and the Black Americans dominate Atlanta, and they are in the seat of power. And how do they keep the seat of power? Maybe it's another friend and company thing down in that Atlanta, where they have to do what they have to do because they are fighting a race war there, and so you have Black Americans dominating the capital of Georgia, which is Atlanta, and that keeping that fuel will suit a certain class of people. With nepotism, your friend and your family, and you keep it going because you say you're fighting it on the name of race. But even when you put your friend, the class that is there, what are they doing for the general population, that they are white or black, they're members of the state? Is that state working on? I see him in doing all those things. I want him to touch and concern that civil service down there, that when you call them, you sit on the phone for 10 hours waiting. You ask them for a letter for the taxes that you're paying. You don't ever get that. You don't ever get what you ask for. The bus system down there is terrible. I want him to touch and concern that body there. But then that is wrapped up in the electoral system as well, and the black and white.
So you're in support of the Trump moves. The Trump moves.
Boy, you say the law still, I don't mean burn out the lawyer them. The lawyer them still have to check him, because Parliament needs a balance. So the lawyers are to behave themselves. Remember that by virtue of their profession, it is a very public call and a very public role. Yeah. And we put them in places rightly so, because we can't live without, the system can't work without their specialism. We want them to do better. To him as a profession, or her as a profession, who much is given, much is expected. So the lawyers have to bridle him when it comes to justice. But I like from an economic perspective, if something is not working out, and from a social perspective, where you can't have 1% of a population deciding that a woman is a man and a man is a woman, and that is a time, and those kind of things. They really need more thought and more look into, because it offend a lot of people are the quiet. Yeah. We soon not can have no baby and them things, because the whole thing gone. So
as I said, after a while, there's a question whereby I don't know humans are going to be around, because.
But then I don't know where President Trump is going. It is early days.
Yeah.
So we just have to wait and see. We see the corruption, because at the start we think him on these papers was just like somebody wanted to say to me, they want to go to the White House to take that penalty, man, because God knows what the next is going to write. But now we see the corruption that is what's being covered up. And so we are now opening our mouths and say, let us see what is next, because you still need, people are going to be made jobless,
Yes,
they have families too.
Now, what do you think about the fact that lots of people who are relying on the USAID, these funding, because And a lot of people
Their ethics should have kicked in. I'm not sorry for those ones for what they were doing to Jamaicans. Their ethics should have kicked in, because where you do not have your ethics is not kicking. What you sow, you're going to reap. And in the face of corruption on that scale, you really could not keep them there talking. Because what happened to our families when people pay taxes and they take the taxes and maladminister the taxes, and we can't be feather in their nest.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it has to be looked at, you can't just be getting away with things that is not right,
Yes. 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 Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining, and for those who are on Instagram, Jacqueline Fashion Machko Naki, and was also on Facebook and for TikTok as well. Very very interesting discussion, Vanessa, looking at scrutinizing, auditing governments. We're seeing something whereby
and the
Donald
role
Trump
of professionals,
and
you
the,
see,
and the
the
role of
role of professionals, be
and
it
the
an
role of
IT, be it a
yes,
hairdresser, be it a shoes maker, be it a cleaner, clean the place, make it healthy for it. I
mm,
nearly died from food poisoning recently. So even the person that is cooking, the role
yes.
of you as a watchman, when you work somewhere in IT, watch. When you work in
Yeah.
law, watch. When you're doing people's hair, watch. Everything that you're doing, we have to be vigilant. We have to stand up.
So we're talking about one should be your brother's keeper, your sister's
Yeah.
keeper, keeping an
Yeah.
eye, because just like with the advent of Assange and these guys, if they weren't with a sort of code of ethic or something within them, certain things wouldn't have been exposed or
And then you need to get up, stand up. It's
get up,
reggae month,
stand up. It's
Stand
still
up
regular
for
month,
your
yes, right.
rights.
Yeah, get up, stand
Get
up, and
up,
stand up for your
stand
right as
up.
much as possible.
Don't
Yeah.
give up the fight.
Mm.
Sick and tired of the ism, schism.
Kiss him.
Down to go to heaven in a Jesus' name. We know and we understand. Almighty God is a living man. You can fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the time. So now you see the light. Reggae month, Bob Marley said, stand up for your
For your
rights.
rights. Boom. Well, ladies and
Boom.
gentlemen, there it is. Stand up for your rights. We're
And
seeing what is happening.
Mr. Bolt at this time here is the next icon of Jamaica.
Yeah, that thing there with Bolt. I mean, that money bit there. I mean, that's
I
really
know the
disgusting.
Prime Minister have no ethics to see that man of that caliber. I mean, look here. Bob Marley do for Jamaica, Miss Lou do for Jamaica, Andrew Wellness do for Jamaica, Usain Bolt, for what him represent. You cannot do that. You're not ashamed. Where is Bolt's money? No
Yes.
ethics. Nobody to come to the rescue. No, not even nobody. That's another
Nobody
story.
comes. Nobody to his. Yeah, it's a very sad. It's a very. I saw an article today. Sorry, was finishing up, but I saw an article today saying that with the advent of Bolt, it makes people want to invest in Jamaica shaky and question it. But at the same
Because
time,
him a patriot. Him
mm,
could have carried money go somewhere else, But because him believe in that little place, he put
yes,
money there. And the same people, some of them would have said, yes, he has given stalwart word to us. And I believe that they must treat Bolt. Anyway, somebody soon sign an executive order, a global one. I
yes,
need
somebody,
an executive order to get Mr. Bolt back in money, Mr.
yes,
Trump.
maybe we need to send a message to Trump and say, listen, need an executive order,
Yo, Andrew, I chopped the party line, What money there?
well, with the Trump thing there. Let me. Where is it? Do I have it? See there? Let me post it. See there?
This man is all. Hey, him out and bad, That's why Jamaican people like him, because Jamaican people out and bad.
This man is the only man in Jamaica I trust.
And don't think you know about hype on Jamaica, You notice how them have mentioned Jamaica. He love Jamaica, Everybody loves Jamaica. And Trump love Jamaica too.
Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for tonight. Thank you so much for joining. Vanessa, as usual, thank you again. And peace out. And take care of yourself. Make sure you rested properly. People, I want to thank you so much for joining tonight. Welcome to the Silver Show. I finished my sorrel bear we drink, and some water. I want to say have a good night and God bless you and peace out. We need fundamental scrutiny and fundamental auditing of successive governments in Jamaica, around the world. We're seeing with the advent of Trump factor there. And yes, a leaf out of the book should be taken as well. Okay? So peace out and God bless you. Bye-bye.